Hello and welcome to this edition of Big Scott 35 Cards, where tonight, yes, these are the ones that made my list for the Hall of Fame balloting for the 2020 Hall of Fame, YouTube Hall of Fame, I should say, that Baseball Collector is putting on. I think this is the third year of it. This is my first year of voting. I've been doing this going on 2 years maybe, but this is the first year I've really gotten involved with this. Now, just to talk about my list a little bit, these are 10 candidates that I watch, and I will list them kind of in the order that they impact me, and I will go over them. But these 10, are ones that I watch the most, not necessarily that I watch all the ones that I watch. Like many others I've watched, they've had to uh, narrow down what they're, you can only have 10, and most people have hundreds of names on their list. I don't have quite that many, but it's gotten pretty extensive. Thanks a lot to things like this where, I went on to Baseball Collector, saw the names, and went through a lot of them, and I got to see some new channels. So, and Mike O just had a thing on his Facebook page to list if you make videos, and I've been checking out some of them. So thanks to them for doing things like that. But back to what we're here for, my list, and I'll go number 10, which is Vintage Breaks, which is a breaker. But they do vintage cards. They have a heavy presence at the National, at the Breaker Pavilion. They've broken some big things. I can't remember what year Mantle they broke out at the National a couple years ago. They just need to settle down the guy that runs it. He can be a bit little abrasive and loud. But it's a fun channel if you like, especially 70s cards. They do a lot of that. 80s. It's just fun, and if you're able to get into them, the breaks, it's really fun. And I don't really get into it, but I like to watch it. It's very nostalgic. Number 9 is Bowman 1951 Sport Cards Adventures. I have last few months really gone back and watched some of his older stuff. I really like going into card shops, seeing card shops here in the Midwest. We have few. I have to do a lot of traveling myself. So just to let you know, Bowman 1951s, I might be stealing that concept a little bit, but I'll do it justice for you. And if you're out here, I'll stay away from them then. But, out here in the Midwest, I won't compete with you out on the West Coast. And I do some traveling in the mid-Atlantic region. But love watching that, and some of his takes on various things that's happened in the community. Very impressive and thoughtful when he does that. Number 8, Card Collector 2. And this one, I was leaning more higher into my list. I know it's all 10 of them make the ballot, but I just kind of want to list them because it made me think about, hey, and the value of this gentleman. He's a younger guy, just started his own card shop, has a heavy Instagram presence. That's where I kind of found him. Went over to his preparation 2 years ago for the National on YouTube, and he does the trade night, which is a huge success for him. I missed it this last year, slept through it, but he brings a lot. And now that he has a card shop, you could tell it gets, when he talks about baseball, it's a little out of his comfort zone. I would be the same way when I talk about basketball or soccer or something like that. Even football now, card wise, it's a little out of my zone. So I appreciate him doing that, and he has a very diverse channel now, especially with him owning his card shop. So I appreciate that. Number 7, Pat Geek. Again, Really loved his interviews from the National this past year. I went to the National. I knew a little bit of him. I think it was suggested by a baseball card collector on one of his to check him out. I can't remember exactly, but I seen a little bit of him, and again, opening up older stuff, and he's just not sports cards. He does all kinds of cards from back yesteryears, and he has guests on that talk about them, and pretty cool interviews. But man, great job at the National this past year. Number 6 is going to be Cardboard Chronicles. Now, this guy, I haven't really heard anybody. I haven't watched all the videos, but ones I've watched, I don't know how many this guy's getting votes. But I wanted to put it out there because he got an interview with the guy that runs the PCW site, and and let him tell his side of the story without trying to run him down. And I talked to him at the National, and I told him I appreciated him doing that. So we got to hear his side of the story. If you haven't had a chance to see that video, and I'm not saying I agree with it, it made me laugh, some of the stuff he said, and I've heard other people talk about it, but he gave him a stage and an area to do that. And he talks to super collectors, high-end collectors. Yes, his main emphasis is basketball, but it's a good way to learn from other people how they do things. And me I do it pure hobby collecting. I'm not much of a seller. I'm selling stuff now, but as a buyer, getting a seller's perspective helps you as a buyer to know what to look for and a better understanding. So that was number 6. Number 5 is This Baseball Card Life. Again, I met him very briefly at the National on the Thursday night get together. Very briefly. So briefly, I don't know if he even remember talking to me at all, but I really enjoy his things. Because of him, I got the one book. I think it's I know I'm talking away from y'all right now. Geez, I don't even see it over there. Like the 300 cards of tops or whatever. Really enjoying. He collects in PSAs a lot of the junk era stuff. So very interesting. And now some of these guys might go, who is this guy? I do comment a little on him. I'm very much a lurker. A lot of times I'm watching on break when I have downtime, or at work while I'm on break. Or downtime. So I don't have a lot of time to, I want to go back and make a comment. I forget, but I'm trying to get better. If you see my beginning of this year video, I said I want to be more assertive in this community. So number 4, Vintage Card Curator. Great little short segments on things that are going on in the hobby to point out. He's one of the ones that helped blow the lid off of the, along with the Beckett forums, which I didn't really know was going on, but because of him, I do, with the card trimming and things like that with PSA. Now, I have commented on his, because do I agree with everything he says? No, but that's why it's interesting, because it starts a discussion and it does bring to light a situation that is going on and it needs to be addressed in some fashion. And I really appreciate him for doing that. That's great for the community for him to do that. Let's see where I'm at. That was number 4. So number 3 is Philmington. I was thinking about this. Philmington, I love knowledge. Those back pages, Eric says it all the time. He's one of the reasons why I keep doing this. I haven't been getting a lot of subscribers, which I keep telling myself I'm not doing it for that. But you want that, hey, this, you're doing it and people will like it type of deal. But he always says knowledge is king. Philmington, man, when it comes to rookies, prospects, I'm not going to use the word investing, but if you are in the market of buying now to sell later, I mean, he breaks it down. He'll give you, terminology, and he tells you he's not juicing his own stock. He's not just telling you this so he can sell stuff at a higher price. But, and you can't blame him once he says that a card is, this is the card to get, and a week later when you go on eBay, it's gone up a little bit. It's going to happen no matter what, because those cards are hot. So there's a correlation with it, maybe, but it is what it is. People are still going to talk about it if it's on a forum, YouTube channel, Instagram, in your card shop, at the barber shop, and in the grocery store. The information gets out there. So he's not the, because I've seen that said before with him and other people that talk about the selling, including Lico 3, which I like to watch too, for a lot of the same reasons. But you can't vote for him because he's already got in the Hall of Fame. So that's number 3. Number 2, Triple Crown 24. I've seen his praises a lot of times on these videos. He's a much younger man than me. I think he's half my age, but his knowledge well surpasses mine. He is a student. You can tell that he is. When he goes to do something, he learns everything he can about it. And what is awesome about that is he passes that knowledge on. He's the one, when I started watching, it was okay to be a super collector. That's, people actually do it that way. I was still collecting like you did in the 80s, where you bought boxes and kept everything. Triple Crown 24 got me on that path, and now he's selling at shows and telling you, hey, I buy these in a $1 box to sell them for this. You don't see many guys doing that, and that I have seen. There might be a whole bunch that I have not dug deep enough into YouTube yet, but I appreciate that. That is so great. And number 1 is Up North Collectors. It's going to be a couple of reasons, and I'm going to say it very briefly. I'm going long-winded when I talk. I tend to ramble. Up North Carolina Collectors, great father-son. I did have Dustin and Blake. I just don't watch enough of their videos, and I should. Father and son, kids, any of that. A lot of these younger people are getting in it because they think they can make money off of it, which is, I hear, if you want to make money, do something else. But they do it. It's collecting. Hey, that's the way my dad got me started. We got the cards, you talk about the players, you talk about the stats. Awesome. But on top of that, met him, talked to him several times at the National this past year. Super fantastic. How they are on YouTube, on the video, very upbeat, happy to talk about people. Every product they get, and they'll tell you if it's not but man, when you meet them, they're eye-opening, refreshing, great people. That's what we need, and they represent that, and I want that type of people, and there's already a lot of those in this Hall of Fame when you go to read the list in this, and I had to go back and read it because, like I said, some of the guys that I watch are already in it that I think really highly of, and I speak of them in some of my videos. So that is it. This is the first time you're checking me out. Please check out some other videos, and if it's something that you like, please subscribe. If it's not, not all of our videos are for everyone. But till next time, see ya.